On this episode of Mythbusters, take 10 paces, turn and draw, because this is the good, the bus, and the ugly. First, Adam and Jamie fire up an Old West classic.
Huh, that is scary as hell.
Can you shoot the gun right out of the bad guy's hand?
Dang.
Then Jesse, Keanu, and Sandra ramp up the action.
Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it!
To find out, can you really jump a bus over a gap in the freeway?
You do not want to miss this.
Who are the Mythbusters? Adam Savage. Whoa! And Jamie Hyneman.
Are we going to try and shoot him in the head?
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience. Joining them, Grant Imahara. Carrie Byron.
Let's do it.
Tori Belleci. And featuring Jesse Combs.
That was awesome!
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
Jamie, I'd like you to cast your mind back to your days in the Old West. Okay, supposedly there's a cowboy myth from back then that you could disarm an opponent with your pistol without harming them.
You mean you could shoot a gun out of their hand?
Exactly.
I was wondering when we'd get around to that one.
The time has come.
Back in the Old West, any good guy gunslinger worthy of a sheriff's badge could supposedly disarm the bad guy with a single sharp shooting shot. But is this really possible? And would you really leave him and any bystanders totally unharmed?
Mine may not be so good the next time.
So, cowboy, since you were there, you want to tell us how it worked in the Old West?
Well, there are two parts to this. The first is unarmed and the second is unharmed. Which do you want to start with?
Well, I'm thinking, how much force can you hold on to a gun with? Let's make a plywood cowboy, give him the same amount of holding strength, and take some shots at him.
Easier said than done, but we can give it a shot.
So, first up, Quick Draw Savage sketches a plywood posse. And to give his trio of tangerine bad guys accurate handgun-holding abilities, Jamie knuckles down and gets a grip.
This stuff right here is some of our favorite stuff to have around because it's like hook and loop, but it's actually hermaphroditic. It sticks to itself. Ah, perfect.
Next, the team saddles up and heads on down to the range, the gun range.
It looks great. An orange posse of trouble. We're gonna have to shoot their guns out of their hands. So I'm standing in the Chabot gun range, site of several other Wild West myth adventures by the Mythbusters, including Son of a Gun. I think he did it. Gunslingers.
Are you kidding me?
And What is Bulletproof, both 1 and 2. This time, to answer the question, could this, the primary sidearm of the Old West, be used in a non-violent fashion? I.e., could you use this to shoot one of these out of your opponent's hand and disarm him?
Hey, Adam, come check this out.
What do you got?
This is my human hand grip simulator.
I love it. How do you want to test it?
If you hold on to this gun,
Okay.
and I yank it out of your hand and see what that feels like. All right?
Feel like you got something?
Yeah. I'll have you hold on to this thing just securely, and I'll yank it out of there. And if I feel like they're the same, then we're in business. That's spot on.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, let's mount it up and shoot at this puppy.
Okay.
The gun is placed in the bad guy's grip simulator as if midway through the draw. And with the help of a sharp shooting laser, Adam and Jamie take aim, ready to fire.
Perfect.
Okay, so we're gonna start off this myth with an impersonation.
Oh, great. Here we go.
Go for it.
Drive straight. Stay above 50.
How about another one?
There's a bomb on this bus. If you slow down, it'll explode.
All right, well, judging from your quotes, I take it we're testing another speed myth?
Right.
Right. Ever since Adam and Jamie tested whether you can prevent a bus from flipping over by moving all the passengers to one side, everyone has been requesting the bus jump myth.
I know this one. It's where their bus is speeding along and they get on an overpass that's unfinished and there's this huge gap. But somehow they pull off this leap across the gap, make it to the other side, drive away perfectly, and nobody's injured in the process.
Exactly.
You're not going to do this through the whole myth, are you?
Yes, I am.
It's a classic scene from the green screen. Grant's alter ego, Keanu, and the gorgeous Sandra Bullock jumped their famous bus across a 50-foot gap in the LA freeway. But is it really possible? Or is it just another example of fake physics on film?
Are you okay?
I think so. Good job, dude. Once again, making my family proud. All right, so what's the plan? Get a bus, a half-built freeway, and go for it. Who's driving?
No way, that's way too dangerous.
What, are you scared?
No, I'm not.
Yes, I am.
No, I'm not.
Yes, I am. I think since gaps and freeways are rare and Mythbusters are even more rare, we should start in small scale. We'll build a scale freeway, build a scale bus, and run the bus at scale speed and see what happens.
And then what we learn from that, we will be going up to full scale because we are going to be driving a full-size bus, right?
Oh yes, we are going full scale.
55 miles per hour.
Stay on it, stay on it.
Yep, the only thing guaranteed is that by the time the team is done, this bus will be attempting the same jump as in the movie. First up, it's all aboard the math bus to tackle the perennial problem of scale.
So what I have here is the same type of bus from the movie. It's 35 feet long, 8 feet wide, and it weighs 24,000 pounds. So what I have to do is scale that bus down for our small scale test. What I have here is a toy bus. Now this isn't gonna work. So what I need to do is make a 1/12 scale bus that's remotely controlled and has the right weight distribution.
Now there's one thing in this scale experiment that we can't scale, and that's gravity. We made a few phone calls. We asked people at NASA if we could transport the scale bus and all of us to the moon where the gravity's lower to perform the experiment. They said no. But what they did say was that if you ran the bus a little bit faster, you could compensate for the lack of gravity scaling.
Basically, what these hieroglyphics mean is that to compensate for the physical impossibility of scaling gravity,
F, G,
the speed of our 1/12 scale bus
this is the gap that we're traveling.
has to be just over 20 miles per hour.
20.2 miles per hour.
You forgot to carry gravity.
What?
Meanwhile, back at the shop, Jesse is constructing a perfectly scaled world for the soon-to-be perfectly scaled bus.
And while they scale the bus, I'm scaling the course. Keanu was told that the gap is 50 feet, so we've got that covered. But just as important is the angle of the road. And we've calculated it to be 1.2 degrees, with the exit ramp 2 feet higher than the landing ramp. All of which will be scaled perfectly for this experiment.
Back outside, before Tori builds the shell to cover the engine and chassis, Grant wants to know
16.
if it's got the speed he needs.
Not quite 20.
Yeah, we need to get this to go at least 4 miles faster.
All right, I got a few ideas.
You break it, you buy it.
Fair enough.
Inside, Grant gets busy souping up the engine so it can hit the required 20 miles per hour. Plus, he's also ensuring it weighs in at a scale-accurate 13.8 pounds.
We're gonna be ready to go in minutes.
Meanwhile, Tori goes to work on the bus's body by first building an accurate wooden form, which he then vacuum forms
Vacuum foam, baby. It's like magic.
to produce the lightweight plastic shell he needs.
Now, we need to glue these two halves together, and I have my plastic bus. Woohoo!
And there's even time for a little window dressing, both in the bus and on the freeway, before bringing the motor and body together for this bus's death-defying date with gravity.
Let me off this bus! So everything has been scaled down from the freeway to the bus. So this is gonna give us a really good idea of what would happen in the real world. My prediction, though, is there is no way that bus is gonna make it across that gap.
You done saying your last goodbyes?
Yeah, I think what's gonna happen is it's gonna crash on the ground and we're gonna have to rebuild it. That I can guarantee. All right, well, we're all set. I will position the bus, make sure he goes down the freeway and into the gap.
I'll stand in the middle and start the launch.
And I'll measure the speed.
All right. Bus is in position. This is small scale bus jump. You ready?
Ready?
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. But look it.
It went way further than I thought it was gonna go.
Yeah, but it still didn't land on the other side of the freeway.
This myth is not looking good.
Not at all. So for a first small-scale experiment, the bus missed the other end of the freeway by 2.5 feet. In scale, that would be 30 feet. That's a lot to miss by.
Hey, look,
Yeah.
I survived the crash.
I don't think we did.
That's a shame.
Yep, despite getting every detail down to size, including the required speed of just over 20 miles per hour, as soon as the bus left the freeway, it started falling.
Go, 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 go!
And to prove the point, the guy set up for another test with the distance of the gap halved.
All right, bus is in position.
My prediction, we're not gonna make it.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
I don't know if you want to look.
That didn't even come close to making it. So it's pretty obvious the bus didn't make it.
Yep, as Benjamin Franklin almost said, nothing in this world is certain except death, taxes, and gravity.
All right, we gave it the best possible chance ever. Everything was 12 scale, and we even half the gap, and it's still not working.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as the bus leaves the freeway, gravity takes over and it falls. I mean, there is just no way this bus is gonna make this jump.
Yeah, we would have had to shorten the gap to not much more than a pothole for the bus to make it. I think this part of the myth is definitively busted.
Busted.
But just because our small scale test was definitive doesn't mean we're gonna stop here. I mean, I know for myself, I'm not gonna be satisfied till I see this thing go full scale.
Quick Draw Savage and Hairy Jim Hyneman want to know if you can shoot the gun out of the bad guy's hand without harming him. And by testing 3 classic configurations, the draw, the shootout, and the hostage, we're about to find out.
Here we go. Shooting a gun out of the hands. On the draw. 3, 2, 1. Wow, it knocked it right out.
So it did.
That might be a result.
But it's a result in more ways than one.
Some collateral damage.
Because although he was disarmed, he was also harmed.
Wow.
That bullet went in all directions, or at least pieces of it did.
It really did. That is terrifying. Look at that.
That's a little dose of reality you don't see in the movies. Deadly shrapnel flying in all directions. Walking away unscathed is clearly not a given, meaning the myth is already looking shaky. But what's next?
Right, here's a scenario. Our bad guy's actually gotten his gun out of the drawer and into a firing position.
Shoot first.
Our hero still has to try and shoot that pistol out of his hand non-lethally. That's what we're gonna try.
On your mark.
Shooting a gun out of a hand in a shootout position. 3, 2, 1.
Right there. You seeing it? Well, I know that we hit our gun, because that's a piece of it. Let's go inspect. Dude, you see where I hit this? This is behind the chamber. In order to knock this out, I had to have fired down the cylinder.
Pretty good shooting there, Tex.
An interesting trick shot. But because the bullet didn't get full purchase on the gun, perhaps not ideal for this test. So, let's try that again.
Shooting the gun out of the hand in shootout position. 3, 2, 1. I saw shrapnel go everywhere.
Yep, shrapnel went everywhere.
Oh! That is some nasty damage.
And the gun stayed put. It didn't drop because the profile of the gun meant that there wasn't enough leverage, meaning this scenario is busted on both counts.
Next, we are positing that he's pointing the gun at someone else, and we're gonna hit it in the side. I personally have high hopes for this one.
Shooting the gun out of the hand in the hostage position. Firing in 3, 2, 1.
Success!
Looks like it.
No damage to the hand.
No?
I don't see any damage to the cowboy behind him either.
No. In the hostage position, we can see that the bullet got caught squarely on the gun and delivered most of its energy.
Nice shooting, inanimate shooter.
That, in combination with the fact that there was a little leverage going like this as a result of that hit, meant that this actually came out of the guy's hand.
So the orientation of the gun drastically alters the disarming outcome. But as for the unharmed half of the myth, well, there's a whole lot of lead flying around.
Remember, if you're shooting the gun out of someone's hand, it's because you don't want to hurt them, and you definitely don't want to kill them. And our two cowboys here have sustained a lot of damage. Every piece of yellow tape represents either a graze, which would cut you, or a hit that really might kill you. We've got a lot of time to aim, more time than a cowboy would have. This leads me to believe this might not be the most efficacious method for disarming someone safely.
Adam and Jamie have been testing whether you can shoot the gun out of your opponent's hand, leaving them unarmed and unharmed. The unharmed department is not looking so good.
That is some nasty damage.
And although the bad guys dropped their gun in 2 out of the 3 positions, Adam is not convinced unarmed is working out either.
The gun didn't fall out.
He thinks there's a missing human link. But with shooting at each other out of the question, how do they test this safely?
We're only testing one metric of the gun holder, which is his grip strength holding onto the gun. And I think there may be other factors involved. Specifically, I want to know what it's like for that shooter when that shock force is applied to the gun. So, coming up, one subjective shock force test.
And this is Adam's plan. In this test, he's pulling some strings to narrow down the element of surprise. He'll give Jamie an unexpected short, sharp jolt, simulating the shock of having your handgun shot out of your hand.
Just don't look that way.
I'll look this way.
There you go. I'm hoping this simulates to some degree what it's like to hold onto a gun that's been shot.
Jamie, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Jamie, hold the gun in the correct orientation. That's great. Now, I'm not going to tell you when I'm going to drop it. It got knocked out of your hand.
It did.
How did that feel?
Well, when you're not expecting it, it's like pretty aggressive.
So the surprise of our little string pull experiment made you drop the gun, eh?
It did, but you know, I somehow imagined that a real bullet hitting the gun would have more sting to it.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I think I've got a rig in my head that might be able to add that to the mix.
Okay, then.
So what is it like when one of these gets shot out of your hand? I think that it would sting like hell. I think it would be like hitting something hard with a baseball bat. So what I'm gonna do is take this pistol, use it as a template to take an aluminum plate, put some gun handles on it, and a big paddle out here. See where I'm going with this? And then I'm gonna have Jamie hit that paddle with something like a baseball bat and see how hard it is to hold on. I think I might wanna let go immediately. We're getting close. You don't know this about me, but I have a particular penchant for objects that were clearly made for a very specific function, and yet what that function might be has been lost to time. And this definitely falls into that category. Ta-da! I'm very pleased. I can state without reservation, this is my favorite thing I've ever built for this show. Yeah. Fuel hold that.
And with a little help from Slugger Hyneman, Adam is going to put his new favorite toy to the test.
I'm just trying to think, how much damage could I sustain from this? It's just gonna sting. Okay. My eyes are closed. Wow! Ow! Yeah. No, there's no way you'd be holding on to that thing. God, that hurt.
And here's how much it hurt in glorious, technicolored, 1,000 frames a second slow motion.
Ow, that looks painful.
Yeah, it definitely was a stinging, ringing sensation. Wow! Ow!
The shock and the pain in Adam's face was really evident, and may I say also really satisfying. But how does that relate to a bullet hitting a gun in terms of energy transfer? Well, on the one hand, we have a bat, 800 grams. It was traveling 85 miles per hour, and that gives us a potential energy of 428 foot-pounds force. On the other hand, we have a bullet, 15 grams, traveling 613 miles per hour, and the potential energy there is 416 foot-pounds force. Those numbers are basically the same, and yet somehow I'm not going to be satisfied unless I get something really close to an actual bullet hitting an actual gun and one of us holding on to it.
All right, so the question is, could the bus bridge the gap just like in the movie? I think we all know the answer. Nope.
Yeah, you can't just switch off gravity the moment the front tires leave the edge. It's going down. And what you see in the movie is a special effect.
Yeah, they get the bus to take off by using a ramp, and then with some clever editing, the rest of it's just faked.
Yeah, but what I want to know is the central premise possible? Can you get a bus jump, just like the one in the movie, to actually happen?
Great, so why don't we build a ramp, say as if there was just a pile of dirt sitting at the end of the freeway?
Perfect. But since it's still too dangerous for any of us to drive the bus, even channeling the spirit of Keanu Reeves, we're gonna have to radio control full-size bus.
Well, let's do it.
Cool.
So, as the small-scale setup clearly illustrated, the jump, as per the movie, cannot be made. But what if there was a ramp? What if the bus took off with a more realistic trajectory? Would the 50-foot jump then be possible? To find out, it's full steam ahead with the full-size bus.
Come on board! Now, obviously, I'm not going to be driving the bus when we try and jump it, and neither is anyone else. So the first job is to take the human element out of the equation. So I got my box of goodies. High-torque electric motor, pneumatic cylinders, pneumatic valves, and servo controllers. Now the trick is to take all of this and replace the driver so we can control the bus remotely. Adam and Jamie have done this before, but that was a different bus, so I am starting from scratch.
Grant is starting from scratch.
It's always so easy in the movies.
But he does have a working blueprint to go on. After all, Adam and Jamie did successfully flip their remote-controlled bus at 50.
No guts, no glory.
So, using Adam and Jamie's design, Grant will be steering and pressing the pedals from the trailing pickup truck.
Now to press these pedals, I've got this pneumatic cylinder. So I'm gonna have one each for the throttle and for the brake. And it'll just be like this. And then the jump. Exactly like that. Except at the end it'll be like, yay, we made it! What you're not gonna hear is, oh my God, it's out of control! Because I'm gonna make sure that it doesn't go out of control.
With everything almost under control in the remote control department, let's check out the ramp action.
So this is how we're doing our ramp. We have a 40-foot container that we're cutting on a diagonal to the angle that we need for our bus to jump properly. Right now what we're doing is we're just cutting through the corrugated steel. Once that's done, we're gonna cut through the edges and then pull the whole thing off. So we'll have two halves and we'll flip them over. That way we'll have a ramp. Now, Jamie and Adam did this in the Mojave Desert when they were doing the JATO rocket car. However, ours has to carry the weight of a 24,000-pound bus. So we are gonna have to reinforce the inside of this with steel, so that way when the bus hits the ramp, the whole ramp doesn't just crumble underneath the weight of the bus.
Sounds easy, but the team spends a long, hot, dirty day bracing and reinforcing the structure before they can move it to the runway for the final touches.
Yo, beauty! So the first half of the ramp is loaded on the truck. It's going out to the runway. Once we have the other one loaded up, we still have to put the two halves together and then weld them and then skin the top with plywood so that the bus has something to run up.
So we're here at the Alameda runway. Tori's flipping the first one over, and then we gotta put both of them together. Yay! And then skin them so we actually have something to drive on, a solid surface. Wish us luck.
Back at the shop,
Rise! Rise!
Grant's almost done.
Think we have steering.
And he's so confident he's ready to put his tool pouch where his mouth is.
There are so many safety interlocks in place that if this bus goes out of control, I'll eat my multi-tool case.
A confidence that is only bolstered after his arrival at Alameda.
Look, Ma, no hands!
Because out on the runway, early tests of the remote control setup are looking real good.
Yeah!
Well, I hope Grant's having fun with his little bus.
I think I'm getting the hang of this. Let's see what this baby does at 70. I can drive R2-D2. I can drive a bus.
Over there, tinking around, staying clean, while we're out here welding, getting dirty, breaking our back, building this ramp. All right, maybe I'm a little bitter. Aren't there any, like, massage therapy myths? That's it. We're done.
Can you believe it?
Wait for me.
Oh, you done playing with your bus?
Jamie enjoyed disarming Adam.
Yeah.
But although the force of that hit is comparable to a bullet, they're not satisfied the subjective experience is the same. So without resorting to shooting at each other, an obvious no-no, Jamie's come up with an ingenious plan that will exactly recreate the experience.
As we know, Newton's third law says that for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So if I were to make a gun that fires a bullet in the exact opposite direction that an incoming bullet would have hit it at, then my reaction, being the guy that's holding the gun, should be exactly the same.
A double-barreled handgun that is the perfect embodiment of Newton's third law, that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The bullet fired will push back on the handheld barrel with the same force as the target gun would receive. In a word, genius.
What do you call it?
I call it Newton's law. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
I love it. Well, let's test it out.
Okay.
But outside in the bunker, the testing reveals an unforeseen design flaw.
Oh, well, that's a little bit of a letdown.
That's a lot of a letdown. It didn't work at all.
Well, Newton's law may work, but this one didn't. Turns out that these bullets are only made to go off when the primer is hit, and they don't like to go off with a fuse. So I've got to go back to the drawing board.
A subtle modification or two, and our gun guru soon gets a handle on the situation.
Have you got a solution yet?
Actually, I do. You're going to love this. It's simple. We didn't need to go to the trouble of making two separate barrels. All we need to do is have two separate handles. It's the same equal and opposite reaction.
Ingenious. I love it.
So it's Newton's Law Mark II, and it works like this. While holding the handle, the real gun is fired remotely, imparting an equal and opposite force of the bullet to the hand gripping the handle. Genius. Again. And back down at the gun range, Jamie's design has got Adam's entrepreneurial juices flowing.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a special surprise for you today. From Mythbusters Labs and Hyneman Industries comes a mix of Hoosier ingenuity and total insanity. I bring to you the Hyneman Roulette 6000. Yes, with this gun, not only can you play the most advanced game of Russian roulette ever devised, but every shot is a surprise, keeping life on the uncertain footing it was always meant to be. Buy yours today.
Welcome to the Mythbusters 2. Step on board.
Whoa.
In an attempt to find out if a bus could jump a 50-foot gap in an elevated freeway, Tori, Grant, and Jesse are about to launch this remote control bus off this ramp. But please, read the small print.
All right, so there's something that we want to make very clear about this ramp. If you watch the DVD extras, you will find that they actually had a ramp with a pneumatic kicker at the end to help give that bus a little lift and distance that it needed to make that gap. Well, we're not trying to recreate movie visual effects here. We're trying to give you a real-life situation, as if there just so happened to be a pile of dirt or sand right at the end of the road.
First up, the guys who have a turbulent relationship with remote control runaway vehicles want to test Grant's fail-safe, foolproof override kill switch.
All right, this is slow speed test. Checking the brakes. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Oh my God, this is crazy.
10 miles an hour. 20 miles an hour. We're at 30 miles an hour and holding.
Kill it.
Killing the switch.
Yes.
Great.
Woo-hoo!
Yes.
Good job, Grant.
So, unfortunately, no runaway vehicles today. So what's next?
All right, so we can stop it, but the thing about it though is in the movie, the bus got up to 70 miles an hour. How fast can this bus go?
As a matter of fact, I have no idea.
Well, let's test it.
Of course, the speed at which the bus is going as it hits the top of the ramp is crucial. Let's find out what she can do.
So this is full speed test in 3, 2, 1. Hit it. 35 miles an hour. Shooting off to the right. You stay here. Good. 45 miles an hour. It's kind of all over the road. Come on, get over. Get back. There you go.
Good job.
We're at 58 miles per hour. Looks like that's all she's got.
With the bus swerving wildly and the speedometer topping out at 58 miles per hour, the guys call it
Killing it.
and bring the bus and top speed test to a stop.
In the movie, their bus is going 70 miles an hour. Now, we just did a speed test with our bus, and ours was going more like 60 miles an hour. We did research, and we found out that these buses just aren't geared to go 70 miles an hour. So that might have been a little bit of Hollywood exaggeration. What? Hollywood exaggerating?
The other significant result was the obvious difficulty Grant was having maintaining a straight course. And to help him out, Tori and Jesse are going to lay down some guidelines.
Now this is the starting line. And see the ramp way down there? That's about 3/4 of a mile away. Now Grant needs something to help guide him. So I'm gonna spray a really long white line.
What I'm about to do is paint a chute the width of the ramp. Now this is gonna be our point of no return zone. Now if the bus is not lined up with the ramp at this point, we're gonna abort the mission.
Grant will have to steer the bus up the ramp and jump it to here. This is the distance of the gap in the freeway adjusted for the bus's slower top speed.
So it's gotta land right here, otherwise it's not making the gap, right?
Yeah, where's yours?
A distance Tori
That's where I think it's gonna land.
and Grant predict they're going to fall way short of. But where exactly it'll land, there's only one way to find out.
All right, you guys, this is it. The final experiment for bus jump.
I am so excited.
How you feeling?
I'm all right. I'm
you
all right.
sure?
I'm a little nervous, but
Dude, you're gonna be great.
A little nervous is an understatement. With days and days of work, all leading to this one final test,
Very nervous.
nerves are on edge and frayed.
Never seen him so jumpy. So this is the real deal. I mean, we are going for it. There's no more scale models. I mean, if we don't hit that ramp, this is like totally ruined. We only have one shot at this. All right, so this is the real deal. This is full scale bus jump. There's no turning back now. You guys ready?
ready.
We're ready.
All right, let's do it. Ah, here we go. Let's get that bus to jump. Further back, Jesse. 20 miles an hour. 30. Kind of all over the road.
Better though.
Get in the center, get in the center. There you go.
There's your line right there, buddy. Right there.
35 miles an hour. 40 miles an hour. Come on, get over, get back, get back. There you go.
Good job.
We're at 50 miles an hour.
Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill, kill, kill.
We are killing the bus. We lost control. That was close. Oh my God. Tensions are running a little high right now. We just did the first test, and Grant was all over the road.
All right, let's reset.
It's not looking good so far. I'm telling you, you do not want to miss this.
So let's recap. We're testing the Old West myth that you can shoot a gun out of your opponent's hand, leaving him unarmed and unharmed. I gotta say, in the unharmed department, it's not looking very good. There's a lot of shrapnel created when a lead bullet hits a steel pistol. But in the disarmed department, everything we've been testing so far says that it's looking pretty good. But pretty good isn't good enough for us. It's time to put the finishing touches on this myth and finally put it to bed.
Here's how it's going to work. Adam will be holding Newton's Law Mark II by the second handle.
There you go.
Like that.
Jamie will pull the trigger remotely, maintaining that crucial element of surprise.
Okay, Tex. If he blinks, shoot him.
And the bullet will push back on Adam's hand with equal force to that of a bullet hitting the gun.
First up is the draw position. In this scenario, I am just pulling my gun out of its holster when Sheriff Buster there takes a crack shot, hitting my sidearm on its top. From everything we've tested so far, I think I'm gonna drop that gun.
Okay, the gun is hot.
Understood. All right, draw position. Fire when ready, I guess. Huh! That is scary as hell.
You didn't drop it, though.
Not even close.
And you weren't ready for it.
I was totally not ready for it. It lacked all the shock of the target pistol hit the baseball bat. It didn't have any of that kind of pain aspect to it. It was more like a dull thud. So I didn't drop that gun. And from everything we've seen so far, I totally didn't expect that result. So Jamie's gonna have a go with it. All right, you ready, Jamie?
Yeah, I'm ready.
And then we'll see where we stand. He dropped it.
Yep, jumping Jamie Hyneman
It's a shock.
was decidedly disarmed.
You can see clearly in this clip how my hand is being twisted by the gun as it receives the impact from the bullet, and it's being pushed right beyond the grasp of my fingers.
With Adam holding on and Jamie surprised into letting go, the draw position ends in a draw.
Next up is the hostage position. In this scenario, I'm not pointing the gun at Sheriff Buster, but at Jamie here. And to protect his friend Jamie, Sheriff Buster takes a crack shot at the side of my gun. And from everything we've seen so far, I think I'm dropping that gun like a hot potato.
Me too.
All right, hostage position. You may fire when I'm not ready. I didn't let go.
I noticed that. Admit it, you're clenching.
I'm not clenching. You gotta have a turn. Your turn. Here you go.
Interesting. Jamie's suggesting it's more about your mental and physical preparedness than the actual forces at play. Let's see.
Mr. Hyneman, in a hostage position.
When's it gonna be?
And he dropped it again. This is fascinating.
What I'm seeing is that this isn't so much about the force that it takes to remove this gun from my hand. It's about the reaction that I have to the jolt that I'm feeling, and it makes me jump, and I let go.
Editors, can I get a split screen, please, of that last test? Thank you. Now, you may be wondering, looking at this, why I'm holding on to my pistol while Jamie lets go of his. This could be explained by the fact that I endured so much pain holding on to the target pistol that I built while Jamie hit it with a baseball bat. Yeah, like that I'm inured to the shock and pain of this new rig. But really, I think it comes down to something else. I think it's just the fact that everyone's a little bit different, and that means that this technique, shooting a gun out of your opponent's hand, is never gonna be a surefire technique.
But they're not done yet. Sheriff Buster, Jumpin' Jamie Hyneman, and Adam Clench Savage have yet to test the shootout position.
no longer need the secondary handle. This is very much like naturally shooting a gun. I'll be pointing the gun directly at my cowboy down there, except the only difference is Jamie will be activating the trigger without my knowledge. That is terrifying.
You still didn't let it go.
No, I don't think I was putting too much pressure on it. I don't think I'm clenching.
And that just leaves Jamie.
Yeah, I held on to it. I mean, it's funny. It shocks you the same way the others do, but it pushes itself deeper into your hand.
Well, the gun is built to take force in exactly that direction. I think of all the shooting positions, this one's the least likely to be knocked out of your hand.
So it's been a Russian roulette of results, but a result there is.
It's clear from our testing that shooting a gun out of somebody's hand should be your very last option. For one thing, that gun is a tiny target, and you pretty much have to hit it on a bullseye to have any effect. Secondly, if you do hit the gun, the shrapnel or ricochets are likely to actually hurt your guy. So where do we stand with this one?
Well, partner, I think we're going to call this myth plausible, but far from a surefire way to disarm your opponent.
But the idea that you could do so safely, totally busted.
I agree. Let's go.
So if you do ever find yourself in a Western duel, know this. You might be able to shoot the gun out of someone's hand, but chances are someone's gonna get hurt.
Come on, get over.
You could say the bus jump test didn't get off to a great start.
Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill, kill, kill.
We are killing the bus. We lost control.
But it takes more than a wildly out-of-control remote control bus to stop the Mythbusters.
Hit it.
Cue take 2.
We're at 20 miles an hour.
And so far it's...
We are looking good. Looking good.
but not for long.
He's shooting off to the right. 35 miles an hour. 40 miles an hour. It's going all over the road.
Come on.
Over to the right. We're in. All right, killing it, killing it, killing it, killing it. It's kill.
There goes.
That's not good.
Dang! And we took out the fence. That's an affirmative.
A sudden loss of power to the steering sent the bus into an all-too-familiar obstacle. But there is good news. The bus is okay.
Just a little fender bender.
Not even a scratch.
Not the first fence we've taken out here at Alameda.
Well, the kill switch worked. That's good news.
What happened?
Ran out of receiver battery.
So we just lost control of steering and whatnot?
Yeah.
There it goes.
I'm not eating my multi-tool pouch just yet. And I get to choose how I eat it. Maybe fried with a little bit of powdered sugar.
While Grant contemplates a multi-tool pouch donut and replaces the steering servo's batteries, the light fades, forcing the team to abandon the runway. The following day, after a full systems check, there's renewed optimism in the air.
We're back out here. It's a new day. I'm feeling confident.
I'm so excited.
We're gonna hit that ramp. Are we gonna make the distance? Don't know, but we're gonna hit that ramp. This is it. This is full-scale bus jump. This is not a drill. In 3, 2, 1, hit it. Miles an hour, 30 miles an hour. Stay on target, 45 miles an hour. Yeah, Lily, get back on.
Randy, where are you going?
50 miles an hour. Losing control. Killed it.
And chapter after chapter, that's the story for the next few hours. If it isn't down to the extreme difficulty of steering...
Oh my God. Kill it. Oh my God.
That could have been disastrous.
It's a mechanical failure.
10 miles an hour. Killing it.
Or a radio signal failure.
And I thought I had it, and then it wasn't responding.
Or an electrical failure that leads to an electrical fire.
I thought this was a non-smoking bus.
No, apparently not.
and you could say it's taking its toll.
Grant seems a little edgy right now. He's like one of those old grumpy bus drivers. That's my stop.
Did you ring that bell? This ain't a stop.
Damn.
Get off this bus. Get off.
But the team sticks at it, and despite some attractive-sounding advice from Tori,
I say we just load this thing up with C4, and if it gets under 50, we blow it up. Then we have a confirmed myth.
Copy that.
they run through the system once more. And once again, it's all down to Grant. Can he conquer the oversensitive steering and guide the bus going at top speed onto what looks like a very small ramp?
Hit it.
Come on!
10 miles an hour. 20 miles an hour. Come on, dude, get back online. 30 miles an hour. Uh-oh, we're losing it, we're losing it. Get back over.
Come on, Grant.
45 miles an hour.
Hold it. No.
55 miles per hour. Oh, crap. 58 miles per hour.
Return. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it.
That was crazy. Did that look easy? Because it wasn't. It was really, really hard. The steering on the bus is a little tricky because you're following it. All you see is kind of the back end swerving, and you have to correct for that. Trying to keep up, keep correcting the bus, keep correcting it. And it got a little swervy right towards the end. But I saw the ramp coming up, and I made the last move to get us right on the ramp. Yes, hit the ramp, we caught air, and that's the important thing. Did the bus go the entire distance of the gap? No, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. I think that is where the bus landed.
Look at that impact zone.
Ah, that thing is huge. The gouge is massive.
Yeah, but I mean, look, this is our target distance.
Dude, that's a long way.
I mean, we didn't even come close.
Not even halfway.
And you know what? In the movie, they didn't have a ramp.
Okay, the good news. Just like the movie, the bus, before hitting the safety barrier at least, was relatively unharmed. But here's the but. Even with a ramp, the bus failed by a long way to clear the gap in the freeway, which would have meant a tragic and very un-Hollywood-like end to the movie.
All right, this one's looking busted.
Busted.
Busted.